Welcome back to Unfiltered, Unspoken podcast, where we told you we're going to continue to share life experiences. We have another amazing life experience to share. Marcus Big Milk. I say that right?
Yeah, yeah.
Thank we want to thank you for being a guest on Unfiltered, Unspoken podcast. If you could come up and just tell us a little bit about yourself, and then see it is going to kick off the first question.
Well, all right. I appreciate y'all for having me. I'm right now, man. I'm a community activist. I speak out against senseless gun violence in the hood, so I do some youth mentoring, and I'm a violence, what they call in Dallas, a violence interrupter. You know, uh, where I canvass the neighborhood and try to. I'm in the trenches, so I get to talk to the drug dealers, the gang bangers, and so and I do case management as far as trying to get them boys some resources, to try to improve a quality of life for them, keep them from, being in those streets. That's what I do. What qualified me to do the work is because I'm from the people. So, I'm a former gang member myself, and a formerly incarcerated person. So that's what qualified me to do the work. But I love what I do. Plus, I'm also a CEO of Original Good Apparel. I do all my work under the umbrella of Original Good Apparel, which is an apparel that me and my business owner, his name is Delanius. They call him Def Mag. He was once an enemy of mine when we were real banging real tough. So, but we came together, became business partners, and we do a lot of community, a lot of stuff in the community, feeding the homeless as well. So that's me.
Well, thank you again for being here with us this evening. As we do with all of our guests, we do like to start at the beginning. Tell us a little bit about your adolescent years, growing up, things that you've been through, anything that would really kind of shape the trajectory of where you are now. Tell us a little bit about that.
Um, I grew up in Southeast Dallas in a hood called Pleasant Grove. So I grew up with a dad and a mom. We had a structured household too, and so excuse me. So we had a structured household, and so I grew up with a brother and three sisters. I went to school. I mean, played sports. Um, I think I had an idea of childhood until I got about 10 or 11. And then I think that's when I kind of started, rebelling a little bit. And by the time I made it to junior high school, I was kind of off what we call off the porch. So, and by the time I was in high school, I was full fledged in them streets. So, and she got caught robbing. I started robbing people. I got caught.
So, can we go back to your childhood? I guess starting in school. What are, I guess, some of the things that you went through in school?
Yeah. What eventually, what eventually made me turn um, away from home was it was a lot that was going on in my neighborhood. But as we were growing up, but I was a victim of bullying. I was a shy kid, um, kind of humble, soft spoken, and all I really wanted to do was play football. So and I was getting bullied a lot, pushed around a lot. And so then what happened was I think by the time I made it to sixth grade or seventh grade, I realized, I was bigger than everybody. I'm taller than everybody. Like right now, I'm 6'8", so and then I started punching back. And so at the same time this was happening, the narrative of gangs start kicking in. Like I think when Colors, when they showed the movie Colors, it kind of turned the city out. Then things started popping up like Crips, and the fellas from the other neighborhoods was claiming Crips, and they was doing a little bit enforcing, and everybody wanted to be a Crip, and so a way of life started shaping for the young for the young black kids in the hood, and football and basketball became a distant dream. The reality that was staring me in the face was, get in those streets, because my pops had went down. He couldn't work no more. So, and my mom was a stay-at-home mom. She started cleaning white folks' houses. That's something that sisters used to do back in the Gap and back down there in Texas. So, it was hard. And I got tired of wearing my brother hand-me-downs, and got tired of being bullied. So I did the obvious thing any kid probably would have done. I jumped out there, and so, and got active.
Now, was there like a defining moment, where you decided, like, forget this, like, I'm gonna go get this money? Like, was there like a particular moment in your head that you could remember where you just decided to take the dive?
Let me tell you this. One of the things that really upsetted me, and when I kind of got out there, was one of the things that always messed with me, y'all, was, did y'all just hear my Texas accent? When I said y'all, but I got big feet, and I always got made fun of by my big feet. Like right now, I wear a size 16 shoe. So I remember kids always, and mom and them couldn't afford, the name brand shoes, and so I got picked on a lot. And like I said, I would wear my brother's hand-me-down. So it wasn't really a defining moment. Back in the early 90s, the late 80s and early 90s, street money was good. You know what I mean? And it was like, look, man, when I jumped off that porch, it was like, look, homie, I got to do something, because I can't just be wearing my brother's hand-me-downs, and I'm tired of people making fun of my feet, because I got these big old shoes, no name brand shoes on. You know what I'm saying? And I got tired of it. And it was like, by this time I was punching back. So it was like, look, homie, we got to do something. So, initially, we started trying to sell dope. And the dope game was good. Like I say, the money was good then. You could be on the block start out with 50 piece, and by the time the day over with, you on a OZ. So that's how good the money was back then anyway. But it wasn't really just one defining moment that I could say that just say that I just turned everything around. Now, it would be a defining moment that would happen that made me start robbing. That it was a defining moment but that wouldn't happen till I was a little, in my teenager years, a little further along. But that was a couple of years down the line. But early on, it was just, I went to a school where a bunch of young drug dealers was coming to school and they was coming to school fly, and man, you don't want to get left behind. So, you get in where you fit in. So, we was trying to do little stuff. And yeah, it started out trying to sell drugs.
Okay. So before, is that a part when you became, what was the age you became a gang member, and what made you draw to joining a gang?
like I say, it was a narrative that was being pushed real hard. Um, like I say, it started with like that movie Colors, and then it was just the music kicked in, and everybody was catching a side. You know what I mean? Like everybody was catching a side. So I was going to school with some brothers that were, they was busing brothers over to my side of town that was from South Dallas. And everybody from South Dallas was Crips. You know what I'm saying? And they was turning out some of the brothers on my side. But my particular neighborhood wasn't gonna be no Crips. That wasn't our little destiny. So we decided to, fly on the other side of the flag. You know what I mean? So but like I say, it was a narrative that was really being pushed. When you really think about it, it's like, man, they told the world it's like the gangs in LA were going eastward and they were making headlines. They were really making headlines with that culture. And it was infecting every black neighborhood eastward. You know what I mean? And so it got to Dallas. And man, we didn't, we wouldn't disappoint. We got right in where we fit in it. And it ballooned. You know what I'm saying? And man, it turned out to be real detrimental, for a young black kid then. We could get killed and sentenced to the penitentiary. Man, it was raw. They got something in Dallas called the Bloody 90s. Man, it was the streets was wild. It was wild. But it is what it is.
And what was I guess how was your family taking it at that point, being as though you didn't necessarily grow up like that? What was the reaction towards that? Was it a disappointment, or was it actually gratitude, being as though, you stepped into it to help out your family?
Now, because I come from, like I say, I come from a father and a mother. They was not feeling how I was living. You know what I'm saying? I was met with a bunch of resistance. Mama was trying to mom, but dad was trying to dad. But they lost me. They lost me. They knew, it was constantly trying to talk, constantly trying to get me to get right. And so it was, I was just really being rebellious. I mean, by this time, the neighborhood that I was in, man, it was full-fledged. We had young dudes on crack. Brothers my age was on crack, selling dope. He was banging, robbing. And at that point, man, my mom then was, just trying to keep me alive by just trying to tell me to do certain things, and plus, I was playing sports real tough too. So I was recruited real tough. I was playing basketball and football, real high school football and basketball real tough. And, I remember my pops was always like telling me, like, man, I would make the newspaper, you know what I'm saying? And my dad was like, he'd be trying to show me my name in the newspaper, just trying to get me to stir right, you know what I mean? But I was lost, man. I was lost in the sauce. By the time I got a taste of the money, I got a taste of, you start gaining credibility, in the streets. And so I grew up as Big Marcus, but then I done turned into Big Milk. And it was, Big Milk is doing what Marcus would have never dreamed of doing. You know what I mean? So once I got a taste of the life, started gaining a level of credibility, man, I was lost in the sauce. It was over with. It was nothing mama and daddy them could have told me at that point. All they could do was, mama had, like she say, man, she was looking for a phone call to hear that her baby that got killed in them streets somehow. But she kept praying, man. Those prayers kept me alive. You know what I mean? So that's about it.
How do so being a gang member in school? How did that like? What was the change in school, and how did being a gang member, I guess, affect you in school? Because I could see probably there's a big change now um, when it came to school.
Yeah, it's just just about repping your hood. We had my side had a specific thing going on. Like there was a certain college team that represented our neighborhood. We would put on certain clothes from a college team, and of course, the initials of the college stood for something. And so, you just rep your neighborhood. You know what I mean? And Friday night you go to a football game somewhere else, or you skip school and go to somebody else's school, get into it with them. Or go to the little clubs that they had at that time. I remember it was a club called Genesis or Brothers and Sisters in South Dallas. So, you go to those clubs, and then they put a club up in our hood called Matlocks. And man, it was on. You just go to the school, you rep your little neighborhood, and it was nothing. I go to school drunk. I was drinking 40 ounces of Old English 800. And so I'd be in class drunk, me and a couple of homeboys. And so it was nothing. The teacher was going to pass me anyway because they knew I played ball. So all I had to do was half the work and shut up in class. You know what I'm saying? And just shoot. And outside of that, after school, it was in the streets.
And what was your first taste of any like enemy territory, or getting into it really seriously with anybody else really, regarding what you were doing? Did you was it a matter of going to jail, getting caught by the law, or just a run-in with other crews?
No, it's being out. I'm gonna tell you, boy, one of the main things that'll get a young brother crossed up is going to go see a girl in another neighborhood. You know what I'm saying? That's one of the main things that'll get a brother crossed up. So, in my particular situation, it wasn't even my girl. You know what I'm saying? It was one of the homies' girls. As a matter of fact, I was supposed to meet her home girl. And so, man, we get out there. We get out there, and man, we get out there and we just hanging out, and I was kind of loud too, so I was, I was kind of loud. And so I remember one of the houses across the street from where the girl was and a home girl was, it was a dude that came out, and he was, and he noticed us and he started bumping. So, man, he started bumping. Man, fool, you know what it is on this side. You know what I'm saying? So, man, that fool ran in the house. You know what I'm saying? And when he came back out, man, he came out with about 7 or 8 other dudes. I'm like, dang, all these fools was in that house. You know what I'm saying? So, man, it went down. You know what I'm saying? So it went down, and it happened. Some things happened, and we went back and did a drive-by. So, that was one of my first tastes of just crossing enemy lines. And the crazy part about it was, we was in this neighborhood, we didn't even know them fools over here bang like that. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, man, it was crazy. It was crazy. And man, we went through it in that situation. But like I say, we came back and man, we actually did a drive-by on the fool's house.
Wow. I'm gonna get back. I got so many questions to ask you. I'm like jumping back and forth.
Yeah.
Do you feel as though you put your family's life in danger Did you being a gangbanger, did you feel like you traumatized them? And did your parents ever put you out?
Nah, my parents ain't never put me out.
Okay.
Uh,
Do you feel
they
like
didn't know.
you life in danger?
No, not to the T where it was like somebody gonna come do a buy on my house. You know what I mean? On my house. But it wasn't so much of for me, it wasn't so much of like that. Now if I put them in danger, like yeah, I remember one time I was with my old man. Yeah, let me say this. I was with my old man one time and he going to go see his cousin. So so he going to go see his cousin and man, his cousin live in these apartments that we beefing with hard. And I'm like, Pop, like, okay, yeah, let's go, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, I can't get, like, let's go, man. I can't get seen over here, man. The wrong dude spot me and see who I am, man. So that was about, and then one time I was, and the crazy part about it is one time I was with my old man. I was with my dad, man, and we was driving down the street and I seen some dudes that was from those very apartments. They was like catching a bus or something. Man, I done jumped out the doggone ride. I done jumped out the car. I told my pop, stop the car, stop the car, stop the car. So he like, boy, what's up? I'm like, Dad, stop the car. So he done stopped the car. I done jumped out the car. Man, I'm ready to mix it up. You know what I'm saying? The fools start running. I'm running behind them niggas. My old man, when I come back to the car, my old man looking at me like, fool, what the hell is wrong with you?
Yeah, why would you put your
Like,
dad in that
boy, what
situation?
the hell is wrong with you? Don't you ever get me caught up in none of this mess you got going on. So in that fashion, yeah, I probably put, what I'm saying, pops to him at risk, in a couple of situations. But as far as the home front, nah, no, not like that. But I mean, when you in the lifestyle, when you just in those streets, period, I guess you can always say your family or where you lay your head is always at risk, you know. So
I guess how long into this, way of life did you, maybe think like it's time for something different, or when did it actually become like a worry for you versus, something new or a thrill or just the only way you can survive at this point?
you just go. You just go. You just go until something happens. Something very dramatic or traumatic happened. For me, I went to prison. I got caught robbing. But then, that didn't just stop my flow. You know what I mean? It really turned it up. But um, you just go. You don't think, and this is one of the things I tell the youngsters now, you don't think these things can happen to you until they do, or when it happened to somebody close to you. You look up one day, the homie that was chilling right there with you every day, now he dead. You know what I mean? Or you find out one of the homies from the hood who you grew up with or played ball with, he's getting sentenced to prison. And you just don't think that these things can happen to you, and at that time, I was just living, I was just moving. And it wasn't, it didn't, my light switch didn't come on till about 7 or 8 years after I was in prison. You know what I mean? When I really just, I'm gonna say about 8 or 9 years. But, that's what happened with me. But then, I got my girlfriend pregnant and had a daughter when I was like at 18. So that didn't slow me down. I just turned up some more. So now I got a baby.
I want to ask. You said you were drink. How old were you when you started? You said you used to go to school drinking. Was there any other, I guess, drugs or anything besides drinking when you were younger?
No, I didn't even smoke weed. I smoked it a couple of times, but I wasn't a weed smoker. I
Okay.
was strictly a drinker. That's what I was, right?
Okay.
I was all the way into the image. I was drinking Old English 800, 40 ounces of Old English 800. I would
That's
actually go to the store and buy a case of them. Yeah, I'd actually buy a case of them. It was 12 that come in a case. And then they dropped a 64 ounce, and I would drink 64 ounces of beer. You know what I'm saying? So I that's what I did, and drank that MD 2020 and Wild Irish Rose. That's what I was on, and so
they
I
were
was all
selling
the
you
way in it like that.
age.
You say what now?
They were selling you alcohol at that age,
You what?
being a minor.
What? I was a big old youngster too. You heard me? Like I was what? When I was 15. I was about 6'4", 225 pounds. A big old youngster. And so, then them people didn't care. Them Chinese folks didn't care. We go straight over there to East Dallas. You know what I'm talking about? And we in the liquor store. I'm buying cases of 40s. Do you hear me? Shoot, we used to patch up and go buy 40 ounce for $1.07. Right over there. Yeah. Right over there in East Dallas
Not
Project.
anymore. Not anymore.
Goodness, man. I guess what type of I know you said that, having a kid kind of made you go harder with everything. But what other mind frame did that put you in, if anything? What did that, make you think about, alternatively where you weren't thinking about before?
When I got my little girlfriend pregnant at the time, we were still robbing folks. We was robbing individuals. And then we hit a lick. Me and my homeboys, me and my little clique hit a lick. And man, we got a whole bunch of guns. And that was the turning point to where, man, we turned all the way up. Like, we didn't have to share this 12 gauge and this 380 no more. You know what I'm saying? We all got our individual guns now. We had an old sawed off, or we sawed it off. You know what I'm saying? Sawed the back of it off and had that nail hanging out the back. So we had one of them, and we had an old 380 that used to jam like crazy. But anyway, so we hit this lick, and man, we turned up. And then right when we did that, it was like, when I had my daughter, it was like, man, I gotta get some money. We gotta really get some money. We gotta step our game up. And so this older cat in the hood, he was like, look, man, I got an idea. So it was like, what's up? It's like one of the OGs, like one of the big homies in the hood. So he was like, what's up? He said, man, look. So he put me in the car. We went to go rob something. We went to go rob a store. And that was my first time just robbing a store, because we was robbing individuals. But I robbed a store, and he came out with all this money. And I was like, man, for real? You know what I mean? So we did it again. And man, that was it. It was like, at this time now, I'm coming back and I'm giving my baby mama money. I tried to give my mama some money. My mama was like, I want that devil money. You know what I'm saying? I'm breaking my sisters off, and But that was a point. That was a point where definitely when I got my daughter, I felt like it was survival mode. Like it was another level of survival mode. I was just thugging before, but now it was like by this time my grades slipping. I'm not going to school. Now I go to the alternative school, so I'm not playing ball no more. You know, these recruiters started calling the house. I asked my teacher, where's Marcus at? You know what I'm saying? And man, I'm out here bad. You know what I'm saying? We got these boys. I'm into it with these cats over here. And man, I'm catching them downtown. They catching us downtown. It's happening. You know what I'm saying? And man, it was happening. It was happening. It was moving fast. And I'll never forget, toward the end of it, I was just, man, all I was seeing was red. Could nobody talk me down off that ledge. Nobody talk me down off that ledge.
Did anyone ever get hurt while you were robbing people? And did you ever feel bad about robbing folks?
Let me answer the latter part of that question.
Okay, let's go.
I ain't never felt, at that time, I didn't feel bad. I mean, it wasn't until, and good question. It wasn't until I cut into, it wasn't until about a few years I was in prison where I was like, man, I wouldn't have wanted somebody to do my family like that. There's a situation where I really regret, even to this day. It's this one specific situation, and it was like, man, I shouldn't have did that. I shouldn't have did that. Like, there's a part of me that really hope one day that I actually cut into these people by accident or something, and I really want to express, my apologies to them. It's like that's a real situation for me right there. I was like, man, I tripped out. I should have did that right there. But I done asked the Lord to forgive me.
Did anyone ever get hurt?
Yeah.
That's a part of the question I asked. So
that was the former part of the question that I didn't want to ask. You know what I'm saying?
No, I'm just.
There's a few people that that experienced some uncomfortable situations. I think we didn't kill nobody in the midst of it. Let me say that.
Right, see, he hesitated. Look and see.
Understood, and that's fair.
Enough said. That's I just we kind of bring awareness, to situation.
Yeah, we didn't kill nobody, but let me add this in there. We were kids, and we were doing things in a fashion that we thought that things should go. We were influenced by what we were seeing on TV. We were influenced by what we were hearing through the music. And a lot of people want to mention or say that these things don't have an influence, and that's not true whatsoever. These things do have an influence. Music, movies, these things are portals. These things are portals that allow these particular spirits to come, man, and infect the mind of the people that's listening to them. And if you're not guarded, such as an adult or a mature mind enough, then before you know it, these influences, have such an effect on you that you'll start trying to play some of these things out. So it's and it happened to us. Just thank God social media wasn't alive when we was running the streets. So I can't fault some of these young brothers that, I don't think that, because there was a code. I don't think we be doing certain stuff on camera. You know what I'm saying? But, we guilty of laying a foundation that that really tore our neighborhoods up and tore people up, so.
So what was the, breaking point for you? How, were you able to get out of that? What was the situation surrounding letting all that go?
There was about my 11th, I'm gonna say, I calmed down at about my 9th or 10th year in prison. But then something spiritually happened for me in my 11th year, I'm gonna say. That's when I let everything go, about my 11th year. When I just really just decided, hey, look, I'm not a part of this no more. Disassociate me. You know what I mean? But it was a situation where my 9th, 8th, 9th, 10th year, somewhere around there, I calmed down. And by that time, I had been on the unit for so long. I was on Ferguson unit in Texas. And so, I had slowed down by that time. But I had a divine intervention around about my 11th year. And that's when I really disassociated myself with just the lifestyle period, and gave my life to the Lord at that time. And then when I got out, I left the Lord right where I met him, in the penitentiary.
You say you left the Lord where you met him in the penitentiary.
Yeah, I said I left. Like, I'm telling you that this is a part of my testimony now, because I have rededicated my life since. But I have, when I said that I gave my life to the Lord in my 11th year, and then what happened was when I left in my 13th year, I got released on my 13th year. I said I left the Lord right where I met him, which was in the penitentiary.
Okay. All right. I want to ask, okay, so we, at the point where you've gotten locked up, what led to you getting locked up, and what was your sentence? How much time did you have to do?
By that time, man, I was a full-fledged robber. I was addicted to it, to be honest with you. And didn't want to sell dope no more, because this was an adrenaline rush. Robbing people was easy. Once you pull that pistol out, boy, it ain't nothing they won't do to keep you from pulling that trigger. So the big homie had turned us on to robbing restaurants and fast food joints and stores. And so it was fast money, easy. Like I said, that money back in the 90s was good, So, it was easy. And I got addicted. Before I know it, man, we went into a McDonald's. We went to the McDonald's one time. Boy, that was it. We was on our way home. We was supposed to be robbing something else. And we was on our way home, as a matter of fact. And then one of the homies, we had already aced a couple of McDonald's before. So it was like, look, family, let's take care of this McDonald's right here. And we in Mesquite, Texas. If anybody know anything about Mesquite, Texas, back then, black folks ain't had no business in Mesquite, Texas, trying to rob nobody. But anyway, so when the homie said, look, man, let's take the joint, I was like, all right, cool. So I was a fool at that time, just pretty much being, I ain't care about nothing. It was like, I'm down for whatever. Jumped out that car. Me and the homie jumped out that car. We wouldn't see Dallas for another 13 years. So So anyway, I get out, and there's a thing. So this is the thing that we don't think about, especially being young at that time. You have what they call an MO. There's a certain way that you do things, and the police pick up on those things. You know what I mean? Like, there was a certain way that we rob people. When we go in these stores, there are certain things that we do. There are certain tendencies that we have. You understand what I'm saying? It's the way that you take care of your business. So before I know it, I'm sitting in front of an investigator, and he's saying to me, hey, look, we got you for X amount of robberies. Then they calling in Dallas. Hey, look, we got you for X amount of robberies. You know what I mean? And so, we already like, look, man, homie, already like, look, we ain't telling them nothing. But I'm doomed. Why am I doomed? Because I'm 6'6", 240 pounds, robbing people. So when the paperwork come in and they pulling out all these paperwork, all these descriptions or police reports of this 6'6", 240 pound youngster that's robbing stores, it all match up. The MOs match up. So it was like, look, we're going to charge you with 5 of them. So, I tried to stick to my guns. So they hit me with 5 of them. Got found guilty. And they sentenced me to 50 years. 50 years in prison, man. My daughter was 4 months old. You know what I'm saying? Man, when they hit me with that 50 years, because they asked for a life sentence. The district attorney asked for a life sentence. So, but when he hit me with those 50 years, man, when I tell you, when I heard that first 50, all I could think was, did this fool just say 50 years? And you don't think that this gonna happen to you. You don't think that mama can't save you, daddy can't save you, girlfriend can't save you, homies can't save you. And you just standing there with these 12 people with your life in there. Your life is in them people's hands. And they done heard all this stuff that this district attorney had to say. They done made me out to be the hardest, rawest monster that ever roamed the streets of Dallas. By the time that white boy got finished with me, shoot, them white folks came back and then told them folks, huh?
The first years, you had more than 50?
I got sentenced to 5. I got 5 counts of aggravated robbery, which is armed robbery, and I got 50 for each one of them.
So how many 50 years did you get? 3?
5.
So you got 5 50 years. So they gave you 250 years?
Plus 5 years for the stolen car. They was asking for a life sentence. So I was up against 5 life sentences. So man, that was a banger. That was a banger. That was a heartbreaker. Man, that broke my mama's heart. Well, that broke my old man too, man. I ain't never seen my old man break like that, y'all. That broke my family, right, y'all. That hurt. That was a big blow, because you're thinking like 50 years, man, we ain't gonna never see this boy no more. You know what I'm saying? And man, it was, thinking about it, it's still unbelievable. You know what I mean? And you just in a situation that you're in a hell of a situation, standing up in front of all these white folks and all these policers. And it ain't nothing you can do. It ain't nowhere you can go. You got to go back in this old nasty, contaminated, overfilled jailhouse, and they telling you, and all you thinking is, man, I need to get up out of here, man. And you thinking, and I'm thinking, man, I can get out of this somehow. And man, they dropped the hammer. Guilty. Come back and then sentence me to 50 years in prison. So, man, it was tough. But thank God they ran them concurrently. And plus, I was under a law at the time that they had I got caught in January 1993. As a matter of fact, what's today's date? The 22nd. I got caught on the 28th. So of January of 1993. It's almost to that date, ain't it? So anyway, but in April is when I got sentenced. But anyway, thank God, I got caught when I got caught, because at that time, all you had to do was 25% of your time to come up for parole, which is 12 and a half years for me, and so they ran the sentences concurrently. So all I had to do was serve 150 years. But, at the time, you getting them suckers, try telling an 18-year-old that you're not going to be able to come home until you 31. Imagine that. Ain't no way.
So what is it that you, during that time, it's still a long time, even though you didn't, do all of those years, it's still a very long time. What is it that you clung to during that time? What kind of helps you through? And what were your coping mechanisms, in all those years and being a young man?
I went crazy in that place. Like literally lost my mind. I couldn't fathom that, man, I got all this time. As a matter of fact, one of my nicknames became Big 50. A couple of cats started calling me Big 50. My coping mechanism became reading and writing. That's something I always was good at, reading and writing. And so, but other than that, I was in the mix, got into gang fights, gang riots, that gambling. That was my coping mechanism. Playing basketball on the yard. That was my coping mechanism for the first decade, pretty much. And then, like I said, but by the time I reached that time of, I'm going to say around about 8 years, by that time I had been there for such a long time that I didn't have no more enemies. The dudes I actually fought with and against, we became homeboys. Some of them cats became my cellmate. You know what I'm saying? So, I had been there at that time on this unit so long that Big Milk wasn't an op no more. I was just the big homie that's cool. The big blood homie that was cool, and that was it. And I wasn't like, I was more affiliated than active. I had slowed down by that time, but then it was like, I was like 5 years coming up for parole. It was like, wait a minute. I might have a chance. And I was on Ferguson too, y'all. So this was the worst parole unit in the state. Do you hear me? Ferguson unit. And it was rocking and rolling too, And by this time, though, the unit had kind of slowed down. And, it was, other than that, I had got into reading and writing real tough. I got into writing real tough. And so it became a thing on the unit. The homies, some of the homies would write their little gangster stories. You know what I'm saying? And I had wrote so many letters for some of the homies who couldn't read so many times that I started writing my own stories. And the homies was like, yeah, big homie, man, they got used to it. It was like, yo, big homie, shoot me the story you wrote, man, so that became a thing. That became a real thing. And so that was just kind of like my thing. I don't even know why I haven't completed a book yet, to be honest with you, which, I will be. So, but here soon. But other than that, that's pretty much how I coped. It was just, thank God, thank God, mama's prayers extended behind those walls. God was with me that whole time behind those walls, because I put myself in some situations that could have got me killed in the penitentiary too. So, had to pick cotton. You go to the penitentiary in Texas, you're going to pick cotton.
You say you picked cotton.
You doggone right. I picked cotton.
Oh, they turning y'all into slaves, huh?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. You don't get paid here in Texas. You are 100% dependent in Texas prison. In TDC, you are 100% dependent. You don't make no money. If you got an aggravated sentence, your good time don't work. And you're gonna pick that cotton. The field work is serious. You hear me? And you know how many fights behind field work that happen every day? There's about 1,000 fights with field work every day. You gotta cut grass with a garden hoe. You know what I'm saying? You gonna line up with what they call a hoe squad, and you gonna cut grass with a garden hoe, like a lawnmower.
They still do that now?
Now, to this day, I don't know.
That's some slave.
But when I was in there, that's what we did. That's what I did. And you gonna sing them prison songs too. So why you doing it? Yeah, let me sing this song for you. When you hitting down on that Aggie, it go 1, 2, 3, 4 step. You gonna 4 steps, what we call 4 step. Head high, hit the ground, make that Aggie, make that sound. We 1, 2, 3, 4 step back, hack it, let it lay, same old book every day. We 1, 2, 3, we 4, we step. Yeah, that's a real prison song that we sang.
This some life stuff right here.
That's for real.
Look at your face.
I ain't lying to you.
Wow.
Yeah.
So now that we here, I got a lot of questions, but this is my last question. At any point, did you regret joining a gang or robbing people? Did that ever just did you ever ask yourself, why did I do this?
I regret the day I ever stopped listening to my parents. I hate the day I ever seen a freaking gun. I hate the day I ever seen a nigga with a bandana. I hate the day I ever seen the penitentiary. Do you hear me? I absolutely freaking hate it. I wish I could have been a nerd and let this life be assigned to somebody else. You doggone right, I regret it. You know what I'm saying? If I could go back and redo it, my behind would stay in school, hit them books, and play that ball. Do you dig? But I would say this. Prison did save my life in the midst of that mess. And maybe, just maybe, I was called to this life to help save some lives. You understand what I'm saying? And so that's the way I live my life today, is that I make those decisions. I'm a career bad decision maker. I done hurt a lot of people. I done a lot of bad stuff. I done hurt myself. I done hurt my family. And I regret it. But maybe, just maybe, it was a sign for me to do this, that maybe I can help save a life. Maybe I can help save a family. You know what I mean? So, yeah, I regret it because there was an easier path for me. I chose this life. This life didn't choose me. I chose it. You let me say you that. And I was just one of the ones who didn't think that the things that happened to me and the things I experienced wasn't going to happen. So, but yeah, I definitely regret it.
What are some of the biggest, I guess, takeaways? Is it that you share with, the young men that you work with? What are some of the, life lessons you make sure that you kind of lead with, with guiding them?
I try to tell them this. There's a difference between making a mistake and a bad decision. And understand that there's consequences that come with making bad decisions. You know, a mistake is something that you unintentionally do. And so therefore, sometimes you look for your actions to be excused in a mistake. But when you make a bad decision, it wasn't a bad decision that I picked that gun up. I mean, it wasn't a mistake that I picked that gun up. I didn't mistakenly go in there and rob them people. I didn't mistakenly do them things. I intended to do that. Those were bad decisions, and it comes with consequences. And what I try to tell what I do tell people is, you don't get to choose your consequences. If them people want to give you a life sentence for pushing somebody with a gun or crossing them lines, then that's what you got until you fight your way out of that. But you don't get to pick your consequences. So I tell them, man, sow good seeds and choose to make better decisions, make good decisions, make good decisions. Mistakes are going to happen along the way. That's a part of life. But you have a choice to make better decisions and good decisions on your life, despite the hands that you are dealt. You know, some brothers are dealt a hand where it is survival mode. Well, fam, when you get in that courtroom and you get in front of that judge, they don't care about you being in survival mode. They don't care that you was raised by a single parent and mama was on crack and daddy wasn't. Them people don't care nothing about that. They don't care nothing about that. And ain't nothing cool about the penitentiary. Ain't nothing cool about it. And ain't nothing cool about dying early either. Ain't nothing cool about it. So what I try to tell the homies, make good decisions for you and for your future, man. And get out of that box. Get out of that box that we done put ourselves in. You know what I'm saying? That's called the hood and the ghetto mentality. Let that go, man, because it's a whole life to live out here. It's a whole life to live out here. Be free, man, and you make good decisions. I mean, I don't say that they're not hard, but you can choose your hard. You can choose your hard by prison, the graveyard, or you work hard and be free. And I'm not just free from prison, but free from bull crap. And you know what I mean when I say that? I don't cuss, so that's the reason why you hear me say bull crap. But that's what I say. That's what I try to tell them.
And I got you pretty much almost answered my next question, but I just one thing for the youth, what would you tell them to make a different choice? Like, what would you tell them? Like, not to do it, to join a gang, to put a gun in their hand. Like, what would you tell them?
It's all an illusion. It's all a trick. This is one of the things I preach is that lifestyle is an illusion. It's an illusion and it's a trick. It's a trap. Those codes, that lifestyle that we were influenced by, that we lived, it's an illusion. It's death. That's all it is. And all it does is it takes your freedom. It takes your life. I'm always preaching about make good decisions. Make good decisions. You either want to go work at McDonald's or you want to go down there and pick cotton and sing them songs. You understand what I'm saying? You want to go to the shower with your wife in the free world, or you want to go take a shower with 200 niggas in the shower? Choose your heart. You understand? So I tell them, listen, man, make good decisions. Make good decisions. And don't be influenced with what everybody is doing or what everybody figure is cool. Because when you make the right decisions, if you really stick to your guns and do right, you got to realize that you ain't going to be cool. And be cool with that. Be cool with being uncool.
Definitely wise words to live by. So we do like to give you a chance, as we do all of our guests, to participate in Shameless Plug. You see all of your information scrolling across the bottom here. If you can let our viewers know how they can utilize your services, contact you. If there's anything you want to draw attention to, anything you have for sale, you have the floor.
Hey, Dad. Yeah, this is Original Good Apparel. Check me out on my Facebook, y'all. We don't have a website that's just up and running yet. So you'll see that I got an apparel and a bunch of hats, hoodies, and things like that of that nature. You can reach me on my IG or the Facebook page where it has a logo that says Original Good Apparel on it. I use Original Good Apparel to show unity. Like I tell you, my business partner was once my enemy, but now we have moved away from that lifestyle, and we do a bunch of community work. And like I said, we feed the homeless and everything. You know what I mean? And we do everything under this shield of Original Good Apparel. Y'all can contact me by the number that you see, which is 214-924-3651. I pick up. That's directly to me. You understand me? Or you can hit me on the IG, which is OG Brand CEO. Hit me up. You know what I mean? If you need me to come talk to some youngsters, I'm coming. You understand? If you need me to speak, I'm speaking. But come through, support the cause, pick up a shirt, pick up a hat, because all the money goes into what we do. You understand me? And that's life. We have a saying that says, certify your originality. Certify who you are. Be the best version of yourself as possible. That's what we teach. That's what we preach. So remember Marcus Estell, man.
Okay, and we are at time. We want to thank you, Marcus, for being a guest on Unfiltered, Unspoken podcast. I just want to say one more thing before we leave is Marcus has a couple things in newspaper articles that he was recognized for helping others. And so he has amazing testimony behind everything that he's done. He has accolades. So, it's a God's blessing. Thank you for turning your life around. Thank you for, taking a situation from the gang and motivating youth not to join a gang and telling them why not to join the gang and just trying to change their lives. So we want to thank you for sharing your testimony on Unfiltered Unspoken podcast.
Right. So they can Google me.
They can Google you. Yeah, Google him and pull up his article.
Yeah, you can Google me.
Yeah.
Which I find that to be very funny. But thank you for having me. Thank y'all so much. God bless y'all. I love what y'all do.
Thank you. And just hold 1 second. Sid, we're going to keep sharing these life experiences. Ain't that right?
That's right.
All right.
Amen.
Amen. Amen. And if y'all have not done so, please like, share, and subscribe to our YouTube Unfiltered Unspoken podcast. You subscribing is for free. Help us reach our goals so that we can continue to give back to the community. Some of the proceeds go to supporting our nonprofit organization, The Good Fight. We are helping others through life experience. So join and support our cause. God bless y'all, and we will see you on the next episode. Peace.